Did the Spurs just do it again? Did they just find the next role player that will help them win games during the year, similar to what Jonathon Simmons did for them? His name is Brandon Paul, a 6'4", 200-pound guard out of Illinois that went undrafted in 2013. He's been bouncing around the league and overseas the past few years. He likes to play defense and can play above the rim. Paul has even impressed his new teammates and Popovich. Popovich has a lot of good things to say about him. But first, shout out to everybody who has subscribed recently and everyone who was here before. We are almost at 60k subs. Let's try to hit 700 likes in the first day on this video. The Spurs coaching staff is looking for some of the same things from Brandon Paul that Jonathon Simmons brought to the team last year. Spurs assistant coach Ime Udoka said in a post-game interview a few days ago that Brandon Paul is ahead of the game defensively than Jonathon Simmons, but Simmons is a little ahead of him on offense. Udoka likes that you can play him at multiple positions on defense because even though Paul is just 6'4", he has a 6'10" wingspan, so he will be able to switch on to bigger players. But it took Brandon a while to get to this point. Let's talk about Brandon Paul's journey to the NBA. Brandon Paul's days as a college guard were up and down. He was really inconsistent. In his 4 years at Illinois from 2009 to 2013, he averaged 12 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 2.2 assists. The shooting percentage numbers weren't great either. He only shot over 40% once at Illinois. Those stats and his play did not impress any NBA teams. He went undrafted in 2013. Paul moved around a lot, so try to keep up with all the teams. That summer, he played 2 games in the D-League for the Canton Charge and then 12 games in Russia. In February 2014, the Canton Charge brought him back, but then he got waived a month later because of a season-ending injury. He averaged pretty decent numbers, 15 points, 4 rebounds, and shot 46% from the field and 38% from the three-point line. Solid numbers. That's a big jump from what he was shooting in college. September 2015, he signed with a Spanish club. He started 25 games there and averaged 13 points per game. The 2016 summer, Paul finally gets a shot back at the NBA. He played for the Hornets and the Sixers Summer League. The Sixers signed him, and he played in 4 preseason games, but he was waived again. He signed with a Turkish club for the 2016-2017 year. This past summer league was where he really showed himself to possibly be a player in the league. He played for the Cavs and the Mavericks Summer League teams. He averaged 15 points, 5 rebounds, 1 steal on 47% shooting in all of his Summer League games. It impressed the Spurs enough that they signed him to a 2-year deal that includes a guaranteed $800,000 this season. The Spurs actually signed Brandon Paul the same day Jonathon Simmons went to the Magic. Brandon Paul is 26 years old, and the Spurs believe they have found another diamond in the rough. Popovich loves Paul's commitment to defense and his competitiveness. Pop appreciates his growing offensive skills. He said in an interview that Brandon Paul's offensive skills are improving all the time, and at some point, he could become a valuable basketball player. Pop also said he's just on that steady improvement graph right now. Overall, he's just somebody any coach would love to have. Those are some good words to hear. It's not every day you hear Popovich praising a guy that hasn't played 1 meaningful minute yet for the team. Yes, obviously Pop is not going to say anything terrible about him. He's one of their players, but if he's saying this about a guy who hasn't played 1 regular season minute yet, that's good. Paul is on the right track. Danny Green has liked what Brandon Paul has done on defense in the preseason. Green said to the media that Brandon Paul is very good at moving his feet. He's a high IQ guy who knows how to pick his angle, cutting guys off, and just communicating. He will be good for us. In his last preseason game against the Nuggets, he scored 9 points and shot 4 of 6 from the field. In the game before that against the Kings, he scored 9 points and shot 4 of 5 from the field and grabbed 4 rebounds. And that is the story so far for Brandon Paul. He is a big unknown, but the Spurs were confident enough to give him a guaranteed deal for this year. He definitely has a possible future as a 3-and-D player. I like what I've heard from the Spurs organization, and I just trust the Spurs scouting. For now, I'm on the Brandon Paul bandwagon. I know I'm going to be paying attention to see how much playing time he gets in the first few months, so shout out to you if you're still here. I'll see you guys at my next video.